Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylina and I am the Hex Witch, and today we are going to be talking about a few of my favorite plant allies that I like to work with. So let's go. So today I will be referencing two different books that I'm getting the majority of my information from. Obviously I use the plant allies in a certain way, but there are many different associations generally with each plant ally. So different herbs and stuff have many different associations. Just because I'm using it in a certain way doesn't mean that there aren't other options out there for you as well. I'd also like to just apologize that my videos lately have been maybe a little off. I've been having some health issues that I've been trying to figure out. In fact, I have to go in for a mammogram on Tuesday because I've got some kind of swelling issue, painful swelling issue going on underneath my left arm. So I've been trying to deal with some of that crap on top of everything else that we're trying to figure out right now with selling our house and just the future in general. So my health has not been the best lately, and I've been sleeping majority of the time. So nothing like being a hibernating bear, but which is also why I'm bringing this up, is if you do have any health concerns of your own, please go see your doctor. I mean, I understand, like, I'm having a hell of a time with the doctors that I'm trying to get in to see. It's been a very frustrating process. So I understand if you get very frustrated with doctors as well, because that is me at this point, but you have to advocate for your health because nobody else will. And we can't all have Dr. Mike as a doctor, so, because I'm sure all of his patients love him, but yeah, that's a whole other side note, but just take care of yourself. Make sure that you're seeing doctors when you need to. If you have any questions of your health, like, go get that stuff checked out, because you just want to stay on top of any potential problems. So anyway, we're going to move on to the actual topic of our video today. So the two books I'm going to be kind of reading out of today is The Green Wiccan Herbal, 52 Magical Herbs Plus Spells and Witchy Rituals by Silja. And this is what that book looks like. I really like this book because honestly, I feel like it's a great starter book because it's got 52 herbs in it. Like, when you start herbalism and when you start plant ally work, it can be very, very overwhelming because there are a shit ton of them out there. Like, so many. So this is a nice little condensed book of kind of basic herbs and things that you can, you know, refer to. And the great way that this is set up is it is also set up by like what element that these plants kind of fall under. So like there's, you know, earth, water, fire, and air. So these plants are actually like categorized under that, which is kind of cool. It's not alphabetical though, so just to let you know that. But it's cool because it's got like what planet the plant is associated with, what deity it's associated with, magical uses and non-magical uses, which is kind of nice because sometimes it is hard to find a book that has both of them in there. And then it also has like things it's combined with generally, and then like a little spell, just like a little tiny spell at the bottom, as well as some other major spell works in the back as well. So it is really nice, and it does talk about, you know, just harvesting and how to grow some of these, and even like the moon phases with some of the plants. So it's an interesting book, and I do refer to it quite often. The other book I will be referring to is a ginormously huge book, but it's very like well-rounded as far as magical uses go. It's The Complete Language of Flowers, a Definitive and Illustrated History by S. Teresa Diaz. And this is what this book looks like. And it's actually a really pretty book. And she's got like a whole series. So she's got, I believe, like a tree book on this. I think she also does like astrology, and she's got like a whole series of like massive books. And it's like A through Z. And the only thing is, so like the the plants are separated by their scientific name, so it is a little bit harder to sort through, like if you're trying to find like a specific one, like rosemary, for instance. I was searching through this book for rosemary. Turns out it doesn't exist. It literally has every other plant but rosemary, apparently. So I'm like trying to Google the scientific name because I'm not smart enough to know all of that information. If you're an herbalist, you probably know that by heart, but there's a lot of plants. So I do not know all the scientific names. I just know rosemary, mustard, you know, the general terms that we've come to know. But this is a huge book, and it's it's got like every plant in the book apparently, except rosemary. But that's not a problem because I have rosemary in this book. So anyway, we're just going to dive right in because we're already ranting for about 6 minutes now. So the ones that I have on my list, and the great things about the ones I have on my list, which I didn't do this on purpose, it just happened to be, I found out that I'm kind of more of a lazy witch apparently, and I just like finding things that are easily accessible to me, unless it's like a very specific spell that you kind of feel more drawn to using certain herbs because maybe they have a little bit more punch to their energy. But a lot of these on my list, I only have 7, and I like using other ones as well, but these are the ones that I tend to use a lot. But they're ones that you can find pretty easily, and even some of them you can just walk outside in a park and maybe find some as well. So the first one on my list is poppy. And I actually really love using poppy seeds. I personally use it for like abundance and prosperity. That is what I kind of associate it with, but there's lots of other meanings as well. So love, luck, magic, money, sleep, fruitfulness, fertility, and then let's look at this first book that I mentioned. Poppy. So it's got really pretty little pictures. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got illustrated stuff, and it's very simple. Like there's not a ton of information, but it gets the job done. And so like this book I actually like as far as like the non-magical uses. So for instance, with poppy, the planet is the moon, which you would definitely associate with that, since poppies are, you know, if you've ever seen Wizard of Oz, you fall asleep in a poppy field. So deities are Demeter, goddess of the harvest. Magical uses is divination, fertility, and sleep. Non-magical, boiled in liquid, usually wine, poppy seeds can be drunk to ease stomach upsets. They give great energy and often eaten by athletes before a long day's training. A syrup or tea can be made from poppy petals to promote sleep. It's often combined with jasmine tea and drunk before dream magic. So that's what poppy is in that book. And then poppy in this book. I would have taken more notes, but there's just so much information. I felt like it was kind of a waste of time to like write it all down again when I can just reference it right here. I have it all labeled out. So this one is lined out very similarly. You have pictures of it, but there's a lot more information in this book than there is in this other book. However, this is only really like folklore about the plant as well as its magical uses. It doesn't really have any of the non-magical uses in it. In fact, it doesn't at all. So poppy, and I'll just read like the possible powers. If you want to read like symbolic meanings, you can go back where you can get the book, and you can read all of that. Possible powers: ambition, attitude, clear thinking, fertility, fruitfulness, harmony, higher understanding, invisibility, logic, love, luck, magic, manifestation in maternal form, money, sleep, spiritual concepts, thought process. So that's kind of what poppy stands for. Some of the folklore and facts are the Romans believed that poppy could heal wounds inflicted by love. Evidence of poppy flowers are found in 3,000-year-old Egyptian tombs. The ancient Greeks believed that corn would not grow without the presence of poppy growing nearby. And after World War I, the battle holes in the fields in Flanders later filled with poppies. The legend began that the flowers had come from the spilled blood of war, making the red poppy flowers the official remembrance symbol of the war dead. And that I find really interesting because that is very true, because we have a World War I museum here in Kansas City, and you walk in and there's just like this whole like covering of poppies just like everywhere, which is a really cool remembrance that they did that. But that obviously must have really been true because they adapted that to the World War I museum here, and poppies are very much associated with the dead that passed away from the war. So that's poppy. The next one is cinnamon. I love cinnamon because cinnamon to me is abundance, protection. You know, that's kind of what I associate cinnamon with. But let's see what other associations it has. So, good old cinnamon. Possible powers: abundance, advancement, conscious will, energy, friendship, growth, healing, joy, leadership, life, light, love, lust, natural power, passion, power, protection, psychic powers, spirituality, success. And so recently I've been using cinnamon a lot for trying to get this house to sell by blowing cinnamon over the front passageway to our door, to attract abundance and prosperity, and hoping that people will feel that good energy when they walk into the house and want to buy it. So that's what I've been kind of using it for lately. But I also love to cook with cinnamon too. It's got a lot of good health benefits as well, which I'll read in a minute from the other book. So the ancient Egyptians used cinnamon in mummification. Used incense or in a sachet provides the power to increase spiritual vibrations, help heal, bring in money, stimulate psychic powers, and provide protection. Ancient Chinese and Egyptians used cinnamon to purify their temples. So I find it kind of funny recently because I've been really attracted to the Egyptian stuff. I've always been attracted to like the Egyptian culture and just that whole ancient history. I find it fascinating. I also recently I've been trying to work with Anubis a little bit, which is funny because I went into Casey Conjure, which is one of my stores that I like to visit to get all my witchy supplies stuff. And I was asking her, I was like, well, have you ever worked with Anubis? You know, do you have any recommendations on how to kind of summon him or what things that he likes? And she was like, no, I've never worked with him. In fact, I've never really had anybody who's come in who had worked with Egyptian deities. I was like, oh, that's interesting because I've always been drawn to Egyptian deities. I'm not saying I'm the only one out there that is, but if you are like deep in workings with the Egyptian deities, or if you have any information about what like Anubis likes, and I heard that he likes rum, so I offered him some rum, and I hear he likes bread and you know, Egyptian musky kind of scents like frankincense, sandalwood, myrrh, any of those kind of really musky smells I hear that he likes as well. So I'm gonna try that, and I was practicing. I needed him for a banishment spell because I have a friend that's going through a situation. So doing a banishment spell, and I definitely felt like there was presences there. Like when I closed my eyes, I could see images of Anubis, like, and I could picture him doing stuff to the one candle that represented the person I was trying to banish. And when I opened my eyes after a few minutes, the candle was already like down so far compared to the other candle that represented the person that I was trying to protect. Like, it was crazy. It was so crazy. Like, the candle should not have melted down that quickly, but it did. And it was in a stable condition, so there wasn't wind or anything. It was pretty crazy. And it was crackling a whole bunch, so it made me know that somebody was looking out for the spell. So cinnamon in this book. So it's associated with the sun, deities Helios and Ra, gods of the sun, Ocean, goddess of love and lust, Magical uses: love and lust, power, success, knowledge, abundance. Non-magical uses: cinnamon is an astringent, a stimulant, and an antiseptic. Sipping some warm water with a cinnamon stick swirled in it can help stop vomiting. The essential oil is famed for its antibacterial, antifungal properties, but also has other uses. A few drops mixed with some banana mash can help relieve flatulence and diarrhea. There is some evidence that eating a teaspoon of ground cinnamon a day can help with high cholesterol and reduce blood sugar levels. So, and a kind of a warning thing, you know, just like anything else, make sure that if you are trying to add some of these herbs as far as like eating them goes, or even dealing with them, because there are some very poisonous plants that you don't either want to burn, you don't want to consume, you want to be very careful handling, such as mandrake or, you know, belladonna, or really even rue. Like, you just want to be careful handling these. You don't eat some of them. Make sure you do the research before messing with them, because it could be very toxic, potentially deadly, and you know, you want to be aware. So that's my little warning sign for you. Next one I have is pepper. And so pepper for me, I use as like protection, banishing away evil. It's very much got kind of that like strong stinging vibe in a way, so that's what I like to use pepper for. So this one specifically is black pepper, but I also like cayenne pepper and like hot spicy peppers. Planet is Mars. Zeus, god of fatherhood and protection. Magical uses: protection, inner strength, warding off bad people, which is why I used it last night. Non-magical uses: stimulates the taste buds and aids digestion. So great to use when encouraging someone to eat, such as after an illness. Pepper was used as a currency in ancient Rome. When Attila the Hun ransomed the city, one of his demands included 3,000 pounds worth of pepper. Can you imagine 3,000 pounds of pepper? I'd be sneezing for days. Pepper in this book is under Caspium, and it is to break hexes, fidelity, love, wards off evil spirits, wards off the evil eye. In folklore, if you believe that you have had a curse placed upon you, encircle your house with red caspium to break the curse. So that's what pepper is. So rosemary is only in this book, but I love rosemary. I use rosemary all the time. I mainly use it for protection and stuff, but I actually have it right here, and it's good for helps prevent Alzheimer's and dementia, liver detoxification, reduce cough, balance hormones, helps prevent many cancers. I think that might have been meant to be cancers. Prevents blood clots, freshens breath, skin, hair growth, staph infection, and magic, purification, peace, memory, and protection. I use rosemary a lot for protection. I use it way more than sage, just because rosemary to me works the same as sage, and it's maybe a little less smelly, and you're also protecting the sage industry, because as witchcraft and more natural healing practices have been growing, which is great, but there's kind of being an over use of sage, and so it's good if you can find other things to take the place of that. So I like rosemary. Clove is also very good. Clove I feel like is a little bit heavier than rosemary, so if you just need a general protection, rosemary is great. If you need something a little heavier, a little bit more oomph, clove is great. Clove is also great when dealing with spirits, like if you don't have good spirits around. So rosemary is associated with the sun, Zeus, god of fatherhood and protection, Hera, goddess of purification and marriage. Magical uses include banishes negativity and nightmares, cleansing and purifying, protection, memory spells. Rosemary is often burnt to cleanse an area before casting a magical circle. Non-magical uses. A rosemary and oil rub is said to help slow down hair loss by boosting the circulation. It also tones the scalp to avoid dandruff. Wash your hair, massage in the rosemary oil, leave for a few minutes, then wash again. Rosemary contains lots of iron and vitamin C, making a great tea for the cold months of the year. The flowers look great in a salad. while it's fine to eat rosemary flavored foods during pregnancy, you shouldn't eat whole spoonfuls or use the essential oil at that time. So yeah, and I actually can attest to the rosemary, like using it for your hair, because it does stimulate circulation and helps with that, which I also need right now because my hair has been falling out so bad, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna have any left. Not gonna have any left at the rate that it is falling out. So that also indicates that there's something going on. But anyway, that is rosemary. I love rosemary, especially for protection. That's mainly what I use it for. Nettle. So I must feel like I need a lot of protection because I have a lot of protecting ones, because nettle is also a protecting one. It wards off evil and removes curses. So I do like stinging nettle and stuff for, I used this I think last night for the banishing ritual as well, just because it, I feel like, encourages getting rid of bad things. So as far as like non-magical uses, it's a detoxify body, boost immune, increase circulation, improves energy, menopause symptoms, stimulate lactation, prevent kidney stones, inflammation, allergies. For your skin, it's astringent, eczema, bites, and chicken pox. So, and now I'm not saying, you know, if you take any of these herbs, it's just gonna magically clear up, you know, whatever issue, problem you have. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that some of these herbs maybe can help assist some things, and I always like trying a more natural approach, but if the natural approach is not working, you have to go and do something. You have to go see your doctor, or, you know, or see your doctor and use this as an aid as well, you know. But I'm not one of those witches who is gonna hold up this bottle and tell you this is a magic potion, it's gonna fix all your problems. That's just not realistic, and that would be lying to you and being very dishonest, because that's just not true. Now, I mean, some of these herbs have had, you know, some proof throughout. I mean, a lot of herbs and things are used more in like the Eastern healthcare, you know, like, or Native Americans, like a lot of, it's like, that's what herbs have, that's what their purpose has been used for. You know, a lot of other cultures and things have used them, and maybe they haven't documented as much as like the Western culture has. It's more been like passed down from generation to generation. So the proof, or the scientific proof for some of these, may not be like quite as strong as like our Western culture medicine, because there's not maybe as much documentation, or it's documented a little bit more through word of mouth or being passed down, or, you know, it's maybe a little bit more like secretive in a way. So just because we don't have necessarily the, like, a whole bunch of research doesn't necessarily mean it isn't an option. Like, I've actually read about this really cool doctor's office, or I think it's in Hawaii. Don't quote me on that, I don't know that for sure. But I was reading about this place, and they handle cancer purely through natural stuff. And like, it's a big, long process to get in with them, and you can't have done any chemotherapy or anything like that beforehand. But I mean, they've been curing cancer. Like, people have come out of that place cured of their cancer, all by natural stuff. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it's the best option for everybody, but I am saying there is a place and a time for naturopathic medicine, and there's a time and place for Western medicine. So I don't like when people totally pick sides, because I've seen both sides be incredibly helpful for people. So anyway, this video is gonna end up being longer than I wanted it to be. Gosh dang. Nettle. Did I even read nettle? I don't even know if I read nettle, because I'm blabbering a lot. So, nettle. Mars. Thor, god of thunder and healing. Helios, god of the sun. Apollo, god of poetry and music. Oya, goddess of wind and change. For magical uses, protection, healing, and curse breaking. Two of the things that I do a lot of magic workings in protection and healing. So Non-magical uses. Nettle leaves are full of iron and potassium, so a nettle tea or salad is great for treating anemia and is safe even in pregnancy. Boil the leaves briefly before eating to take out the sting. Drinking nettle tea and eating the leaves is also said to be helpful in the treatment of asthma and to help regulate blood sugar levels in conjunction with the traditional Western medicine, of course. See, they say it too. And a nettle infusion rubbed into the scalp will reduce the oiliness of hair. The root boiled and drunk can ease common allergies. So that is what nettle does. And I like nettle. I think nettle kind of has a cool vibe to it. Nettle is in the back of this book. Holy moly. Nettle was one of those that did not sound like what it should sound like. Its scientific name is Urtica dioica, which I'm sure I'm butchering that pronunciation, but you would never think to look under U for nettle. So possible powers, they actually have, nettle has a lot. So ambition, attitude, attraction, beauty, clear thinking, exorcism, friendship, gifts, harmony, healing, higher understanding, joy, logic, love, lust, manifestation in material form, pleasures, protection, sensuality, spiritual concepts, the arts, thought process. And in folklore, in a pouch to remove a curse and send it back to whoever created it. So carry a pouch with nettle and it will send the curse back. So that is nettle for you. A couple more. So I have bay and basil. I kind of have them together, so I may not actually like read both of them off. I use bay and basil for like money spells, honestly. That's what I use it mostly for. I know it has other uses though, so I might just quickly go over like bay. Maybe if I can turn the freaking page. So possible powers. So yeah, bay has got a lot of powers as well, and it's got a lot of folklore behind it. So abundance, advancement, clairvoyance, conscious will, energy, friendship, growth, healing, induces prophetic dreams, joy, leadership, life, light, natural power, physical and moral cleansing, protection against evil spirits, protection during electrical storms, psychic powers, purification, strength, success, wards off evil magic, wards off lightning, and wards off negativity, and wisdom. So I guess I do use it for like protection stuff as well. But I do tend to like rosemary and some of the other a little bit, I feel like stronger ones. I mean, I guess bay is a pretty strong one as well, but I really just like it for like money stuff, even though I'm not even sure it had money on here. Abundance, I guess, but anywho. In ancient Greece, poets, heroes, winning athletes, and esteemed leaders were crowned with wreaths made from bay leaves. The term poet laureate is a result of the custom of crowning an honored poet. In ancient Rome, bay garlands were hung over the doors of the sick to protect them. As a result, the university decree of baccalaureate began when new qualified doctors were garlanded with laurus nobilis, which is bay. Prophets used to hold bay boughs when foretelling the future. It was especially used to protect emperors and warriors going off into battle. There's a whole bunch of other folklore as well, but I will stop there. So, and then bay in this one. So bay is associated with the planet Jupiter. Deities: Apollo, god of poetry, music; Circe, goddess of food and wisdom; Delphi, oracle of knowledge. Magical uses: success, knowing the future, and wisdom. Non-magical uses: dried leaves and bay oil are used in cooking and have a mild stimulant effect. Bay leaves are antifungal, and an extract of bay, 3.5 ounces of the herb to around 13.5 fluid ounces, just under half of a liter of alcohol, can be used to treat athlete's foot and similar problems. Bay leaf wreaths are used in Wiccan rituals, and historically, they signify a very important person, usually an emperor. So that is what bay is. Basil I use a lot for like money stuff. But basil in this book is associated with Mars. Its magical uses is money, prosperity, fortune telling, inner strength, Non-magical uses: rubbed on the skin, crushed leaves or basil essential oil, dilute in carrier oil such as almond or rosehip, can alleviate stress-induced skin issues such as a contact dermatitis. When taking in food, it encourages proper digestion and helps ease stomach cramps. Drinking basil tea when exhausted promotes relaxation and sleep. However, the taste can be a bit strong for most people. Basil should not be used by pregnant women. So that's basil. The last one I have is red clover, and I like red clover a lot as well. It's used in fidelity, love, and money protection. As far as non-magical uses: reduce hot flashes, decrease prostate and estrogen cancer, PMS, bone density, lowers cholesterol, gas, bronchitis, blood circulation, for the skin, eczema, psoriasis, burns, and skin cancer. Now, I'm definitely not saying if you have cancer, please go to your doctor. Like, don't just think you can rub some red clover on the spot and the issue's gonna clear up, because as much as I'd love to think that all magic can just work like that, I feel like magic is a little more complicated than that, and sometimes you just need a little bit more sophisticated medicine. So, please don't just rub red clover on your body if you have like a skin cancer tumor. Like, please don't do that. Please don't do that. But anyway, red clover. Planet Mercury, deity Rowan, goddess of luck. Magical uses: luck, especially the 4-leaf clover, of course. Prosperity, happy relationships. Non-magical uses: used to treat breathing and skin problems as well as PMS. Gentle enough to be used on children's skin. The tea can be drunk or, when cooled, applied to the skin, or the essential oil diluted in almond or rosehip oil then applied. So it helps with skin issues. And lastly, clover. In this book, I really like clover's energy. Like, really love clover's energy. I've been doing a lot of like walks on trails recently, and like, obviously all the clover is like growing, and oh my gosh, I don't know if it's the clover that smells so wonderful, or there was a section area that had like these white kind of flowers that I'm pretty sure might have been wild jasmine, but I'm not like 100% sure. But anyway, just walking through the area with all the flowers, oh, smelled so amazing. So good. I was like, it was the best trail I've been on so far, with just the amount of fragrant smells in the area. Okay, clover. Possible powers: consecration, exorcisms, fidelity, good luck, love, money, protection, and success. See, I seem to have a theme with my herbs. I like good luck, money, protection, healing. Those are kind of the ones, banishment, all those kind of herbs I seem to be particularly drawn to. Yeah, okay. As far as folklore and facts: if love has broken your heart, wear clover over your heart on a piece of blue silk to help get you through it. Otherwise, always wear it over the right breast. Brides and grooms should enter into marriage with any other 3-leafed clover, better yet 4-leafed leafed clover tucked into each shoe. Now, if you could find 4 4-leaf clovers, 2 for the bride and 2 for the groom, you'd probably have the luckiest marriage in the world, because those little suckers are hard to find. The Druids considered all clover to be sacred and magical plants. To them, the 3-leafed clover is symbolic of the earth, the sea, and the sky, which is why all spells are repeated 3 times. Put clover in your left shoe and leave it there to keep evil from you. So yeah, I guess from reading that, I really do love clover, because it does have just kind of just this very like down-to-earth energy, I feel like. And that may be different for other people. I mean, I feel like people kind of experience the herbs in different ways, but to me, clover feels very down-to-earth, and I've been enjoying working with it over getting into plant stuff. But anyway, that is the list of plants that I work with particularly a lot. There are some other ones that would be, additional mentions. Like, I like dandelion, which is good for like money, abundance, success, prosperity. Like working with the different salts, just make sure that you're being careful on where you're just throwing salt everywhere, as it can affect the ecosystem. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of other ones, and there's tons more that I would love to work with as well. Just, you know, some of them are a little bit harder to like get accessibility to. And like I said, I can sometimes just be a lazy witch, and I enjoy working with simple things I can find that still have a lot of power in them. And if I need like a very specific plant, then I can, you know, go and get it from wherever. For my banishment spell yesterday, I was trying to get hold of some root, but it was out, and so was mandrake. So I was like, well, those two really powerful, kind of poisonous ones to get rid of this person would have worked great, but they both were not there. And so when I asked the lady what her other suggestion was, she mentioned lemon verbena. So I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure that packed a punch as well, because that spell was crazy last night. Anyway, that is all I've got for you. If you like this content, if you like this stuff, give it a big like, consider subscribing, ring the notification bell. I do videos pretty much every week, or I've been trying to do it every week. And as always, stay happy, stay healthy. I will see you next time for another video. Bye.